Part 10 of Exodus, and I'll get started here. Um, it's been a while since I've started here, so I guess I gotta first tell people that what I'm doing is looking for these hidden formats, okay? And some of these are still my notes. This is going to be for the next video. But as you can see that there is a 3-verse format if I use 1, 2 major words and then connect them with the least amount or the smallest amount of words that I can. And then something like this and like this, I'm adding to the text to complete the format. Now, I do have a computer program over here. Now this program, when I click on a word, over here it tells me the Hebrew word. Now this is the New American Standard Bible, 1977, and its concordance. And when you click on the word over here, what is unique about it, it tells you how many times that word is actually used that they put in for this word here when this word is through Strong's Concordance. Now, saying all that, this forward slash here is meaning that I'm replacing this word said to told. These blue highlighted texts that I'm getting rid of, I have reasons why I get rid of them. And then this yellow highlighted word means I'm adding to the text to complete the verse. Most of the time is that this word is within the subject. We know who our creator is talking to here in this position, but this here you can see is a lot of text that I'm getting rid of. And like I said, take a quick snapshot of that because of the rules here, and then I will get rid of that. These dots like this means that the format needs to continue. You can see I have 2 verses here, and if I go down here, bingo, it's right here, and then all of a sudden it picks up again, 3 verse, 3 verse. So it's kind of odd that all these verses can be thrown out, but that's I'm doing this for historical archiving of finding the hidden format. Now, this format does not replace our creator's format. Our creator's format is a simpler one, or a more difficult one, I guess, but it has many different type of formats, as you see where I have here 1 word and then 2 more upright words. And what do I mean by that? I'm using the Hebrew or the Strong's Concordance words and then connecting them with the least amount of text. A lot of times in the program, you'll see over here where these are dots. If I click on the dot, if I click on the dot, it's like the word and. But if I go through and click on like this here, see how that isn't there? Now again, the text is being added to year over years. And what 1977, I believe they added over 6,000 words to the text. So in another couple editions, they're going to add, say, another 5,000 and another couple. So they're keep adding to the text, and it really doesn't need to be added to most of the time. So what this is proving that the text is not being written by those who truly believe we have a creator who created everything. Example, here's the word covenant. I can replace it with the word promise. Many times he gives us promises, one after another. Sorry, I forgot to click my other light on there. And then what'll happen by correcting these words, uh, it reveals more true truths, okay? Because a covenant you would make once with someone, but the object is that he's promising over time. If you don't know the reasons why people will go into heaven, is because you don't understand all his promises. So until you know all his promises, Christians don't know why they will enter into heaven. Some of them, because a lot of Christians are really weak. Um, but I will start continuing here. Observe to obey is, I believe, is close enough that I don't need to make it a yellow highlight. A lot of times you see me in this video that I'm scanning through and I didn't catch all of them, so I'll be changing them to yellow. Very rare will I go back and change them to green. I'm having to add the word beginning here, and to replace two words, this day, with the word today. As you can see, I can do this and still keep to the story. Now, a lot of times in the story, I'm getting rid of things, so um, I know that they're not true. I've Our Creator made me see them 8 times, uh, and I've studied the text for, if I say an average of how many hours a day have I done this for the last 27, maybe 28 years, is well over 3 hours a day. So don't think I'm somebody that doesn't know the text better than you. I definitely do know the text. Um, and you'll hear a lot of that when I'm going through that. I'll talk about a different story that needs to be added. Now that I've gotten all that out of the way, I can start continuing because I try to keep these to 40 minutes. And these intros that I'm doing are starting to take more time than I would like. But drive out to the word remove. That's probably more in this category of a green, but I'm going to leave it yellow. Um, let's see, inhabitants to people. Sometimes the word inhabitants relates to the word races. There are different races of people here at different times. At this time, they haven't gone into the promised land, but the promised land is filled with people that are descendants from Noah. So when it talks about Canaanites, let me see if I have a map here. I usually have these. Um, okay. Here is what's going on. I believe Noah landed here according to the text. I don't just pick spots. These lines in this division of the sons from uh, Noah, these are Shem's land, the eldest son's land that was given to him. This border line right here might be just a little bit different than what it is, but the object is that when Jacob traveled to receive a wife from Shem's descendants, this is where he traveled from. It's from Canaan's land to here because he passed the rivers, and then we know this. Now, this Canaan's land is really, the text is you're being lied to by saying the descendant is Ham. It is actually Canaan who's here, and then they become Canaan's land, and then Japheth is here. So when they come into the promised land here, um, you have to understand that all those are really descendants, even the Amorites. Okay. Now, tear down to destroy. Oh, whoops, I missed the word snare to trap. I believe that's close enough that you'll know. Because right now our Creator is talking to Moses and he's going to be telling them they're going into the promised land. Now, the promised land, let me pull that up. And using this map here, all these maps are made by me, and there's a company out there that, did I note it on this map? No, I didn't, but this, I think it's NOAA site that you get the blank land structure, and then you have to put in everything else. Right here is where I'm saying that Moses struck the rock, and you have to uh, go back and watch the videos to understand why. But the thing here is it's here that they're going to start moving up this river to battle the Amaleks, and right here is the hill that Moses is going to go up, and you got some idea of the distance being traveled. So right now we're in the story, we're back to this place because we've been here once and we've been here once, and now we're back over here um, in the order of Exodus. Now, he's telling them they're going to go and remove all the people from the land. Let's see here. Yeah, smash their pillars and not cut down, but burn their idols. Idols are made out of wood and then covered or plated with gold or silver and hung with ornaments. Pillars, they made a small stand and then would place their images on them to say this is their God. And they have an altar before some of them that they would go and now the way the pagans would sacrifice, they would sacrifice an animal at the altar, and then they would roast the animal and then eat the animal. Okay, so here is the female goddess name here, Asherim. Let me show you that, so because that's the first time this has popped up. This is 13, so let me go here. Here it is. And they give her different names. Now, this they say is a Phoenician goddess. The text will tell you that it's from Egypt, okay? Now, history is not as you think it is. For example, when you study all the things about Rome, did you know that they didn't even start collecting information about Rome until 700 years after? So a lot of history was never recorded except by kingdoms that had been established. In Egypt at that time, you can tell that they were established very well. So this is the goddess from Egypt, and it's actually the moon goddess. So now they believed, Egyptians, that the sun god Ra is the goddess or god, like the father, and then Asherim is going to be his daughter, the moon. Now I know Venus is named after a goddess, and but the object is that the story is saying that this is going to be from the moon goddess, and it's following through the Egyptian line of understanding what's going on. So a lot of what you're seeing here was copied from Egypt, what they were doing in Egypt. As you can see, a lot of this text, and I've already given you the little example of why I'm getting rid of them. If you really want to see what's going on, I actually go through every verse of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John because it doesn't have a format, but I can tell you about the truths of what is and isn't, and that will really show you my knowledge because that is, I mean, they've got Jesus speaking in third person. They have Jesus not knowing what a commandment is. and he doesn't know what a difference between a sacrifice and an offering is, and maybe you don't neither, but um, as I go through the text, when it comes up, I usually try to explain things of why I'm editing certain words a certain way because, um, example, we just had in the last video or two that um, our Creator was explaining what a sin offering is, and a sin offering is not obeying the 12 commandments. For those of you that don't know that, there's the 12 commandments right there. You've never actually studied Exodus 21 through 17. And it seems like your preachers and all those other people out there have never done it either. So they just repeat what pagans have repeated to you. So, um, these sin offerings are needed to be brought to atone for not obeying the 7 or 12 commandments, which reveals when he says bring a sin offering. And I showed that it is a sin offering, and then they changed it to a burnt offering. So to change all the text in your Bible that says burnt offering, you can change it to the word sin. Now, what I have here is that this sacrifice is the animal that's brought outside the or to the fence to the priest at that time. Um, the priest actually sat in chairs around the fence according to the way they traveled by their birthright or first birthright. And that is a sacrifice. Then the muscles were pulled out, which shows the action of the sin, and they were to be put on hooks and then burnt, and that's the offering. So quit using secular definitions for words. Now, these parentheses you'll find in your Bible from time to time says that when they went through the manuscripts, they found them to say that text belongs in here, or they felt that it needed to be said. And when they first did the Bible, that they didn't find all these. So that's what these mean. But as you can see, I'm not going to use it except for right here. Now, summoned are now it says rulers, all the rulers. Well, the rulers at that time, besides Moses as being the judge and judge over all the people, they had elders. They also had commanders, or I don't know if that's coming up. Let's see where we're at. Yeah, it's getting up here pretty close to where he's going to assign to go to war who they want, or who our Creator says is able to go to war or battle. Okay, now this is down as small text. Yeah, 8 point. What it is this verse here, even though I can get a pattern out of it or a format out of it, this text is not used going forward. But I was highlighting words that I would gonna need. But anyways, here again, they're going to reconstruct a lot of things that I've already went through and we've already done. This is like a doubling of the text. And notice here how they're going to use porpoise skins as the tents outside. It was actually goat hides and ram hides. Our Creator did not allow them to eat any fish that had skin that didn't have scale on it. So why would he put that onto his uh, tent? This is what happens when you start realizing what's going on. An onyx stone is a stone, and here I showed that it's actually going to be two stone plates that are put on, and then this onyx is going to be used as a gem that's going to go on the ephod. And this breastpiece is actually what's going to hold the ephod that's made of of gold, and then the gemstones are going to be set inside or on the center. And I explained the order of how they are. You'll have to go through and find that text. Well, I didn't know that I got rid of so much, because all this, how these things are being made, they're better described above. And when I go through here, um, no, I've already got this. This is a doubling of it. Yeah. Wow, there's and actually shekels, they didn't use coinage system at this time, so that's just completely false. Okay. Um, Here I've highlighted this because it's on the first day of the first month. You'll set up the tabernacle of the tent for meeting. The word tabernacle, you're being corrupted by not understanding the words. Our Creator is calling here a tent of meeting. Well, it's actually a tent for meeting with our Creator. So if you're using the word temple, you're not defining it as our Creator defines it many times, as tent for meeting with me, because it's about asking for atonement. So the priests have to meet with him to then be told whether their offering was good enough, they're atoned for the sin, and they can still live within the nation of Israel. Otherwise, they were removed, and I give my reasons for that. It's not in the text. But the object is the tabernacle is not really a tabernacle. It's not a sanctuary. There's a room that's for meeting with him, and this is a meeting room. Some will call it the Holy of Holies. I think I left that word there. Holy of Holies, meaning that's the room. But on the first day of the first month, you will say, actually, they left Egypt on the first day of the first month of the first year. So this date, is this true that within the first year did they do this? I'm leaving this as a note here, and we're going to find other text down here. The first month of our second year. Okay. So now this becomes everything was erected, or everything was built, or pieced put together. So here is the real answer. It was in the second year. So the first year, they were still being established. Now, they needed to make these things and put things together. So that's very reasonable as a correct timing when the house was, or the tent for meeting with our Creator was built. See how they got the word tent here, or tabernacle? I used the word tent first time, but then I realized everything, because they had to put everything together. And that's going to be the end of this video. I didn't know this was the end already. So, but I guess I will continue with cleaning this text up, and I will start to show this text here of it being cleaned up without all the blue. And a lot of times, these are known as psalms, and this grouping, and then it's actually what I refer to as a small paragraph, and then another small paragraph. And a lot of times, two of these you'll note are talking about the same thing, and then all of a sudden, another subject is being said. So sometimes this format is grouped together. Example, if I pull this up, and I can show you our Creator's hidden formats, how it's built up, and you can see that I first find that format of one and then two upright words, or I find two upright words in order and then another two. Well, then in step 2, you can see that I can combine 2 of them to make a paragraph. Okay, and in step 3, they make another paragraph. You can put 2 of those sets together. That is what's unique about our creator's hidden formats. But this is the text that I'm going to be going over next to show you it's cleaned up. And then there's a lot of editing that needs to be done in this text. So maybe I should have left that. Anyways,